So my experience in working with corporates, working with police, working with Indian Army, Indian Navy and Indian Air Force, working with them, I realized that people don't even know that they are under tremendous stress. And this stress is causing some disorders in their body, and this disorders one day surfaces and they realize that it was due to the stress which are going through. Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste, I'm Deval Chauhan. Welcome to Arogyam, where we discuss yoga in daily life. So, are you suffering from stress? Do you feel burned out at the end of the day? Do you feel pain in the body? Do you feel sleepless at night? Do you feel that there is need of drinking more and more teas and coffees in the full entire day? These symptoms are very common in the modern day lifestyle and to the one who are suffering from stress. So watch this video till the end to understand why you are suffering from these symptoms, how to get better. So before explaining what exactly stress is, I will just take you to few statistics. So out of 10, 6 people are suffering from stress. We even don't know about it. If you take a look at the disease burden, like how people are dying, so if you understand that out of the 100 people, 95% of the people are suffering from non-communicable disease which is due to stress. So you take a very simple constipation and you take a cancer, all the disease ranges in between are causing due to stress. So this much big impact the stress has on the disease. So out of 100% of people, 75% to 95% of people requires the doctor's help to mitigate their symptoms of the stress. Also, if you take a very good look into the dynamics of stress, stress has caused various range of disease which are not just physical disease, psychological disease, they are also psychosomatic disease. Like the disease starts from the mind and it enters your body. So this surfaces in the body in this manner. So my experience in working with corporates, working with police, working with Indian Army, Indian Navy and Indian Air Force, working with them, I realized that people don't even know that they are under tremendous stress, and this stress is causing some disorders in their body, and this disorders one day surfaces and they realize that it was due to the stress which are going through. Now let's try to understand what this stress exactly is. First of all, before starting that, let's understand what it is not. So if you are experiencing any tension in work, if you're experiencing any overthinking, if you're experiencing any anxiety, this is not stress. This is a symptom of stress. So stress basically is something where your body is not able to perform how it should be. The expectations which you have, you're not able to meet. So I will just take you to the mechanism of how the stress works in the body. So just consider there are two buttons in the body. So one button is known as the button of sympathetic activation that activates every system in the body. And the one more button is there which activates the calmness in the body. So considering these two buttons, if you activate the button number 1 and if you not activate the button number 2 after that, then you are under this stress which is very harmful for you. To explain this, I will give you an example. So for example, a person is walking on a street and he saw a lion walking in front of him. What will happen? It will definitely his body dynamics will change. Definitely his blood pressure will rise. Definitely he will start a little bit throbbing. His heart rate will increase, and all the activation in the muscles and all, he'll get the strength in his limbs and all the skeletal muscles. So these systems happen when the first button is now activated, where here the sympathetic activation is happened and the hormones which are known as adrenaline and cortisol are at the peak. Okay, so this is the first condition. So what the person does, he runs or he kills the lion, and after mitigating the situation, he is coming to normal and automatically the second button is activated, and then he comes to calmness, then he sweats. At that time he will feel that it is hurt here, you've been hurt here, like that. But during the area of the stress, he doesn't even recognize that this all things happen. And we call this as a very healthy stress. Also, we can name this as eustress. It is very necessary, very required. The second type of stress is what I want to discuss in this video, which is known as distress. Now, distress happens with all these activities in the body, but without any stimulus which is required to be activating our actual response. So, for example, in the second situation, where what I want to discuss as a distress, so for example, my boss comes and he gives me some unexpected targets, and by perceiving those targets which are not like I cannot meet or they are very difficult for me, all this body response start happening. My bp goes up, my heart rate comes up, and all the throbbing happens, and all the adrenaline, cortisol is there rising in the body. Here one thing will not happen, that I am not using this all systems. All the energy comes to my limbs, all energy comes to my legs, but I'm not using it, because the situation is not like that. I'm sitting on the chair and taking the stress, or we call it as tension. So here this is very unhealthy, because now we have activated here the button number 1, the activation button, but we have not activated the button number 2, which is the calming down button. And 1 day is fine, 2 days fine, 5 days is fine, but if you are taking this for months and years, definitely this activation will cause you all the symptoms which I discussed at the start. This simply is known as distress, where you are not using the mechanism of the stress properly, and hence it is causing you troubles in your lifestyle. Does it sound familiar to you? Yes, it must be, because it is very common phenomena in today's world. Till now I told you what is stress, what are the symptoms. Now I'll try to explain you what is the mechanism happening in the body due to this stress, and what are the ill effects of that on the very scientific level. So if you understand, I mentioned 2 hormones in the body. First was adrenaline and second was cortisol. So as per my understanding, these hormones are very good at the time of stress, where you require them if there is a lion in front of you, if there is some hazardous situation in front of you. But if it's not, then these hormones will definitely suppress all the other hormonal activities in the body. So I will start from the top. There is a gland known as pituitary in the brain, and this pituitary secretes growth hormone. This growth hormone's function is to heal the body. Okay. Now all the cells which are dying, the cells regenerates because of the growth hormone's activity. So when these 2 goons, adrenaline and cortisol, are there in the bloodstream, it will definitely hamper the performance of growth hormone. So your healing will definitely come down, and this is the primary reason of why you experience pain in the body. There is one more reason for the pain in the body, is the cortisol in the blood seeps into the muscle, and now it is not used, because the primary function of cortisol is to pump the sugar so much in the blood at a very push. Insulin pushes very gradually, but cortisol pushes it in a force. It is there in the body, it is there in the muscles, but you are not using it. And over the period of time, like I said, it will not happen in 1 day. It will happen in weeks, it will happen in years. So over this period of time, what will happen? So your muscles start paining, it becoming sore, and this is the primary reason for you experiencing the pain in the body. One more very important factor, there is a NK cells, natural killer cells in the body. This natural killer cells in the body, when your sympathetic activation is happening in the body, the first button is on, this NK cells, natural killer cells, they are suppressed. They are not at their optimum. And what is the function of them? To eat all these cells which are dangerous, which are worn out, or which are not supposed to be there in the body. So this also includes very important cells known as cancerous cell, the one which has skipped the T1 cycle. So this kind of cells, when they come and they are not killed by this NK cells, regular activities, you will definitely understand what happens with your body, and all the cancerous growth will not be terminated if you are under stress for a prolonged period of time. So natural healing process is not happening here also. If you go more like down, like second gland, we say pineal gland. So this I'll discuss in depth also afterwards, but pineal gland secretes melatonin, and melatonin is very important for your sleep. So if there is irregularity in the melatonin due to the activity of the adrenaline and cortisol, this is definitely going to be hampering your sleep. So I will discuss this in detail at the end, because I will give you some tips for sleeplessness and how to avoid the sleeplessness and everything. Going a little bit more down, let's consider thyroid hormone. Now thyroid hormone which controls your metabolism. And this metabolism, anabolism, catabolism, forming of more cells, destruction of the old cells, and the pace of every activities which you are like experiencing in the day-to-day life. For example, the pace of digestion, the pace of cell growth, pace of cell destruction is controlled by this thyroid hormone, T4 and T3. Definitely, again, when these two goons, adrenaline and cortisol, are there in the body, this thyroid hormone doesn't function very well. And a very common thing happens to a stress individual is hypothyroidism. You say, "Mujhe thyroid hua hai, I have a thyroid." Thyroid everyone has, but you have a condition known as hypothyroidism. Okay, there is one more condition known as hyperthyroidism. That also can happen because of the hypothalamus pituitary axis. That also has a very major reason as a stress. So let's come a little bit more down. Let's understand your heart. Your heart receives electrical signals from the brain. So your brain again and again starts tapping the heart that now you have to increase the speed because you are walking fast. Now you have to decrease the speed because you are sleeping. And this electrical signals functions the heart. This is clear? Next, what happens due to stress, these signals are irregulated. And there might be a condition due to this prolonged stress, the signal will not reach the heart. And it might also cause cardiac arrest. So there are many different reasons for cardiac arrest, but the primary reason, as per the big organizations and researchers, is definitely stress. So we see people doing very good amount of gym, very good amount of yoga, very good amount of physical activities, but still they suffer from heart failure. They don't have any kind of arteriosclerosis in their artery. There is no blockage in the artery. But why their heart fails? Their heart fails due to this mechanism, which is not happening very correctly. So this is cardiac arrest. So this is about the heart. Let's come a little bit more down. So let's understand the mechanism of gut and brain. There are many enzymes, there are many hormones which are secreted, and hence your food will be digested. If this mechanism doesn't happen correctly, your food will not get digested, and you will definitely feel some kind of disorders in the digestion. So for example, the secretion of the acid, how much acid should be secreted in the gut, that is dependent on your brain activity. How much your hormones, like for example insulin, if insulin should be secreted, how much it should be secreted. So this all is the brain mechanism, and stress is the reason for undermining this activities as well. Being very specific to insulin, these days a very young person, say 25, 30, he complains of having a sugar which is high than the normal. For example, they are having sugar more than 100. This is fasting I am talking about. So why this happens? This happens because there is an irregularity in the secretion of insulin. Again, when insulin is in the body and the adrenaline and cortisol is in the body, definitely what dominates is the adrenaline and cortisol. The insulin will not function very well, and hence the absorption of glucose will not take place, and that glucose will be left over in the blood. You will have some more this hyperglycemia, and is not good for you. So that's why this complaint of being pre-diabetic is very common in the youths. And if you don't take care here, definitely there will be a case where you will get diabetic. If you don't mitigate that, it will be your lifestyle. You have to change your lifestyle to avoid this circumstances as well. Let's come a little bit more down. The functioning of your gonads, the functioning of your testosterone, functioning of your estrogen, which are very important in your secondary sexual characteristics in the body, and also for your sexual characteristics, also sexual instincts and everything. So there are many kind of sexual disorders which people suffer. Like for example, talking about male, there is very high prevalence of getting erectile dysfunctioning. This is very common. There is very high chances of getting the low testis or low sperm count. So the primary reason here also is the stress. Also we see a very high prevalence in the youth and in women's such as hypertension and also hypotension. So due to stress, there is a natural vasoconstriction in the body. So vasoconstriction is where your arteries in your veins are constricted due to the activity of stress, and it is required in the eustress, because whenever you are in the front of lion, whenever you are in front of a thief, your blood supply should be very high to the muscles and to the brain, to all the senses. So it happens in that region, and it is good. But when you are not using it in the second situation, which I explained in this stress, then definitely this is going to be a problem for you, because it will create an issue of hypertension, which we call as high BP also. The stress here is also the major reason for that, because of the unwanted vasoconstrictions, which is compressing of your arteries and veins. Second very important thing is the calcium in the bones and calcium absorption in the bones. There is a very important hormone of your thyroid only, that is known as calcitonin. This calcitonin also doesn't functions very well when the stress hormones are there in the body. So the absorption of calcium, so you're eating calcium, you're eating everything which doctor subscribes, you're taking vitamin D and everything, but the absorption is not happening because the hormones are not secreting. So here I have told you many physical impacts on the body of the stress. Now let me take you to some mental implications also. So in that, let's take a help of Shastra, Yoga Shastra. 4,000 years ago, a genius known as Maharishi Patanjali. Now Maharishi Patanjali, in his Yoga Sutra, he gives 13 types of mental disorders, which are not only mental but also has implication of physical symptoms and physical disorders as well. So he says, व्याधि स्त्यान संशय प्रमादालस्य अविरति भ्रांति दर्शनालब्ध भूमिकत्वानि अनवस्थितत्वानि चित्त विक्षेपास्ते अंतरायः दुःख दौर्मनस्य श्वास प्रश्वास अंगमे जयत्वा विक्षेप सहभुव. So this is Sutra 130 and 31. All kind of modern mental ailments. So you take anxiety, you take paranoia, you take overthinking, you take any of the throbbing in the body which are caused due to panic attacks. Every mental disorders is covered in this 13 types given by Sage Patanjali. He was a genius at that time, because the enlistment of all the disorders, the types of the disorders which has enlisted 4,000 years ago are so accurate at this time also. I don't think so at that time where Maharishi Patanjali used to live, there were so many prevalent mental ailments, but they are very relevant in today's life. We understood what was stress, we understood the physical implication of the stress, we tried to understand the mental implication of the stress as well. Now let me take you through the solutions how to manage your stress. So there is a very simple yoga sequence which I have developed over time. It can be like for 15 minutes, it can be 30 minutes, it can be for 45 minutes, it can be for 1 hour. So as per the need and as per the time which you have, it can be curated. Today's version will be of just 15 minutes. We'll do a very small version of it. This version you can do anywhere. You are sitting in a chair, you are in your office, you are anywhere sitting idle. So you can do this. No requirement of any kind of yoga mats, no requirement of any kind of tools or props for doing this sequence. So it involves, the first part is isometric stretching. So here we do some stretches, for example, side bendings, we do some forward bendings, we do some twistings by sitting only. So you just raise any of the hand up first and you hold the armrest and just give a stretch to the side bending. Go for the other side as well. I'm not holding now, I'm just showing you the technique, but when you do it, make sure you hold at least for 10-15 seconds minimum. The second technique is twisting. Again, holding the armrest with the opposite hand and going in a twist. Opposite hand. Twist as per your capacity, no need to do any kind of beyond the capacity things. The third is just simply forward bending. You can do this in your chair also. You can do when you are sitting in the ground also. Anything is fine. Just drop your entire body down. And the last is stretching completely to up, full. So here we gave all these 7 kind of spinal movements: traction, twisting, bendings, and forward bending, backward bending, all 7 spinal movements. So when you're doing this kind of stretching, what happens? All this accumulating uric acid, which is collected from days and days and months, this definitely is flushed out of the system by doing this sequence. The next practice you have to do is Sheetkari Pranayama. So for doing Sheetkari Pranayama, it is very simple. You have to just make a biggest smile possible like this. So you have to show your complete teeth, you have to stretch your face, you have to squeeze your face muscles like this. And then you have to inhale with the mouth like this. there should be this shit sound comes. And then close the mouth and exhale with the nose. I'll just demonstrate one more time. Okay, so inhalation, exhalation. Within 5 to 6 times, just try it out. Within 5 to 6 times, you will feel that your mouth and your throat has become very cool. This coolness calms down your body. This coolness relaxes your mind as well. Next practice is Bhramari Pranayama. Bhramari Pranayama is very, very effective where the mitigation of stress is required. Also, it is very good to improve your sleep quality as well. So, I will explain you in detail in that part also, but just understand how to do Bhramari Pranayama. There are many traditions where the Bhramari Pranayama are doing with some mudras, but there is no need of doing mudras. In the traditional text like Hat Pratipika and Ghiran Samhita, there is no meditation of any mudra. You just simple take Gyan Mudra and place it on your knees. Sit straight, close your eyes and inhale a deep breath. When you exhale, exhale with a humming sound. So there are multiple points where you can focus when you're doing this humming sound. You can focus at the center of the chest. You can focus at the Bruha Madhya, that is your between your eyebrows. You can focus at your Brahmarandra, that is at the top of your head. Any points you can focus, but feel the vibration. That feeling of vibration is very important. I'll just demonstrate you once so that you can understand the practice. I'm inhaling first deep. So this is Bhramari Pranayama. So you do 1 or 2 minutes of stretching. You do 2, 3 or 4 minutes of Sheetkari Pranayama, that smile one, biggest smile. We don't smile a lot these days. You do 3 or 4 minutes of Bhramari Pranayama. Wherever you are sitting, you just relax yourself. You just drop your body behind like this. Okay, you can just straighten your legs, or if you have that scope, you are in office, but if you are not in office, you are not in working environment, you have that scope, lie down on the bed or lie down on the mat, yoga mat, with spreading your entire body. So anything is fine, but just let yourself relax with keeping just 2 principles in mind. Your body should be very stable and your full awareness should be what is happening in the body. See the after effects of all the practices happening. So this 10-15 minutes maximum sequence can cut the prolonged effects of the stress slowly. So one day if you do, you will not feel anything major. 2 days, nothing. 1 week, you will feel something. 1 month, you will feel a little bit more. And as you go on, you will feel that your body pain has reduced. You will feel your sleep is now better. You will feel that the same stimulus, for example, that boss is coming and boss is giving me targets, that same stimulus is now requiring less amount of tension or less amount of attention. And it is troubling you less now. So these are the implication of this sequence. So as per the understanding, you can do this sequence. So you might have a question that do you need to do all the 3 practices together? So I will recommend that if you have 10 minutes in a stretch, 10 or 15 minutes in a stretch, you can do this together. But you can also do this individually as well when you have very small amount of time with you. For example, you are working for 5 hours in a stretch. Take a small breaks of 5 minutes in between. So every 50 minutes or every 1 hour you're taking one break. You do 5 times these practices. 1 practices 5 times. This will help you a lot. So here we also break the myth that there is not necessity for doing yoga 1 hour at a stretch on the mat. Yoga practices can also be done in this small gaps and small settings, and it will definitely help you for your well-being, and also it will tremendously kill your stress. Now let me take you to the another part of the video where we discuss sleeplessness. So here also the statistics are very clear. 7 out of 10 people are experiencing some or the other kind of sleep issues. So there might be anything. There might be, for example, they are not able to sleep at all, or they are sleeping and they are waking up in between. They are twisting and turning in the bed before the sleep. How you understand that you are facing some kind of sleep issues? The first point, when you are going to bed, within 30 minutes you are not getting any kind of sleep, then definitely there is a problem. You are waking up again and again. Like, it can be any reasons. It can be for using the washroom. It can be any reasons like you feel some nightmares or any kind of such related problems. You feel distracted by the sounds around you. So these can be the reasons for your sleeplessness. Clinically, we call this term as insomnia. But this insomnia also has multiple levels. We'll just keep it very simple. We'll just keep it sleeplessness. Let's not burden you with such a big term. For sleeplessness, it is well researched, and even I was being a part of that research when I was working as a yoga therapist in a hospital. This sleeplessness can be targeted with just very simple 5 to 10 minutes of practices. What you need to do? You need to do Bhramari, only Bhramari. Bhramari you have to do at the time of sleeping. For example, 10 p.m. I'm done with everything. Keep your mobile aside, dim the light, sit on the bed, sit at the area where you're going to sleep, and start doing the practice at least for 5 to 10 minutes. Minimum 5 minutes, maximum 10 minutes, and then go to bed. Don't think anything else. Just go to bed. This is day 1. Do this regularly for 21 days. For getting this compliance, make a chart. You do this, make a tick. Again, next day you do this, make a tick. So after that 21 days, you yourself will comment here and tell me that my sleeplessness is gone. So how this works, how this happens, why it is such a magical thing. So there is a very simple stimulus to the brain, melatonin, to your pineal. When you do Bhramari, it stimulates pineal, and pineal secretes your hormone which is very important, known as melatonin. Sleeplessness is not very simple. So here there are some issues you might face. You are waking up after 9 hours, 8 hours or 7 hours of sleep, and you're not still feeling fresh. Here the quality of sleep is not good because the secretion of melatonin is not at the par. You go into many different stages of sleep. There is a REM sleep, there is a deep sleep, there is a light sleep where you get lots of dreams and everything. So in this levels of sleep, if the amount of deep sleep is very less, then definitely the healing process will not happen. Definitely you will not feel fresh when you are waking up. So that healing is very, very important, and important not only for just rejuvenating yourself. It is very important to avoid all the complications in the body, such as cancers as well. So you need to take care of your sleep. It should be deep enough. I hope you understood what stress is and what it can do to you. Also, keep checking for all the symptoms and all the signs which I mentioned in the video. And also please practice the techniques which I showed you in the video. And please let me know if that works for you and how this journey of management of stress is working for you.